Hello! Welcome to the tour of the animal cell. On the tour, we will walk through the cell, and at every organelle, I will stop and tell you what it is and what job it has. Well, let's get going! Before we move on to the cell itself, we must talk about cell theory. Cell theory is one of the fundamental concepts of biology. There are 3 rules to cell theory. 1. All living things are composed of cells. 2. Cells are the basic unit of life. And 3. New cells are produced by pre-existing cells. Now we can continue with the cell tour. As we come upon the cell, you can see a membrane. This is the cell membrane. It controls what goes in and out of the cell. The odd part about it is that its heads are hydrophilic and its tails are hydrophobic. Within the core of this membrane is the lipid bilayer. This bilayer gives the cell a tough, flexible structure. The membrane also contains protein molecules that run through the lipid bilayer. You can also see carbohydrate molecule chains on the outer surface. Another aspect of the cell membrane is active and passive transport. The first type is passive transport. Passive transport requires no energy. Molecules that use this type of transport go from a high concentration to a low concentration, meaning they go with the gradient. There are 3 types of passive transport: diffusion, facilitated diffusion, and osmosis. The second type of transport is active transport. Active transport does require energy, called ATP. Molecules that use this transport go from a low concentration to a high concentration, meaning they go against the gradient. There are 3 types of this transport as well: endocytosis, exocytosis, and phagocytosis. After passing through the membrane, you will enter the cytosol. The cytosol is also known as the cytoplasm. This is the goo that holds all of the organelles within the cell. It also contains proteins needed for the cell's metabolism. Also, after the membrane, you'll run into the cytoskeleton. This helps maintain the cell's shape. It also helps the cell move around and interact with other things. After passing the cytoskeleton, one of the things you can see is the vacuole. The vacuole plays a role in intercellular digestion and the release of cellular waste products. Compared to plant cells, which have very large central vacuoles, animal cells have small vacuoles. You can also see the mitochondrion. These organelles provide the energy a cell needs to move, divide, produce secretory products, and contract. It is known as the powerhouse of the cell. As you travel deeper into the cell, you'll see peroxisomes. These organelles protect the cell from its hydrogen peroxide. They do this by breaking it down into water and oxygen. Further on, you will be able to see the lysosomes. Lysosomes contain hydrolytic enzymes necessary for intercellular digestion. This digestion is needed so that the cell can get rid of any unwanted material that is within it. Next, we come upon the centrosome. This is the area where microtubules are produced. Microtubules are necessary to form the cytoskeleton. The centrosome is also made up of a pair of small centrioles. As we go deeper and deeper into the cell, you can see the Golgi apparatus. The Golgi packages macromolecules for transport to elsewhere in the cell. It also tweaks with them to make sure that they are in working order. You can also see the secretory products right over there lined up to be packaged by the Golgi. Next, we can see the 2 types of the endoplasmic reticulum. The first type is the smooth ER. The smooth ER plays different functions depending on the specific cell type, including lipid and steroid hormone synthesis, the breakdown of lipid-soluble toxins in liver cells, and the control of calcium release in muscle cell contraction. Now we come across the most exciting part, the nucleus. This is the most obvious organelle within the cell because of its prominent look. This organelle is enclosed in a double membrane called the nuclear envelope. The nucleus itself contains the chromatin and DNA that is responsible for all of the cell's characteristics. Also inside of the nucleus is the nucleolus. This is the most prominent structure in the nucleus. The purpose of it is to produce the ribosomes used in the cell. As we exit the cell, we have come to the end of the animal cell tour. Thank you for joining me on this amazing journey.